Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we're going to be doing a NIO stock price prediction. Before I start the video, guys, please make sure to leave a like on the video below. Subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. Join the family, guys. Let's go on our investor journey together. So today we're going to be doing a NIO stock price prediction, guys. And if you guys don't know what NIO actually does, NIO is an EV company that's based out of China. They produce luxury EV cars. Pretty similar to what Tesla does. NIO has actually been seeing a lot of heat recently, and there's actually been a lot of news regarding NIO as well, so I'll be sure to discuss that into my stock price prediction. Looking at the 5-year chart, guys, this thing IPO'd September 12th of 2018. Fairly new company, right? NIO was founded in 2016, IPO 2 years ago, and it's already up 592%, which is actually pretty good. But guys, looking at the 1-year chart, it is up 1,697%. I've said this time and time again that I do think NIO is the biggest growth stock of 2020. It has actually seen a lot of attention to the fact that this stock basically went from trading at $4 a share to being evaluated bigger than General Motors. It just goes to show, that NIO has been on the radar, and NIO is actually coming up to be a really big EV company. Looking at the 3-month chart, guys, it is up 128%, and looking at the 1-month chart, guys, it is down 6.64%. As you guys have seen, for me, I do think NIO is worth a buy at $41.52. Obviously, everything I say in my videos is not financial advice. It's just my personal opinion. First, we're going to discuss the bad news, guys. So NIO actually has not had a lot of good news recently. Right, there was that Chinese bill that passed in the United States, basically saying if these Chinese companies do not abide by auditing guidelines, they're going to be delisted from the NASDAQ. Do I personally think that NIO is going to be delisted? No, I don't. I think NIO is a legit company. As you guys have seen, the EV market is starting to mature, and there's just generally more demand for EV cars. So NIO's growth is not unwarranted. It's basically just the fact that, people are starting to look towards EV. People are more interested in the cars and stuff like that. But it did scare a lot of investors, and it did cause a little bit of a sell-off. On top of all that, guys, a lot of people have been, a lot of analysts have also been saying to start rotating out of NIO, that, that these Chinese EV companies are not going to be the next Tesla. For me, I don't personally agree with that. That's just my personal opinion. But a lot of people are starting to get worried, that maybe these stocks are super overvalued, that maybe it's time to just take your profit and take it somewhere else. For me, like I said, I don't agree with that, guys, but it is also something to put in consideration. We also did get some other news, guys, that NIO is doing another public offering of shares, 60 million shares. And basically what this does, guys, is NIO is doing this to be able to raise capital. I know a lot of people don't like when companies do stock offerings because it generally devalues the value of the stock in itself. And I can understand where people are coming from. But for me, the fact that NIO is doing this just to be able to raise more capital, to be able to expand faster, ramp up production, and really get stuff going on the road, guys, it just goes to show that, that NIO is trying its best to expand as fast as possible. As you guys have seen itself, Tesla is starting to make more of an appearance in China, so NIO wants to be the top EV company of China. So the fact that they're doing this just goes to show the merit of the company. For me, I know a lot of people felt backstabbed when it came to the public offering, and I can understand why people are upset about that. But guys, it's just part of the process. I do think NIO is still going to be growing for a very long time. In good news, though, guys, we did have a lot of good news for NIO stock as well. We did get their November deliveries recently, and as expected, they delivered very, very well. On top of all that, guys, we did get a big analyst upgrade from Goldman Sachs, basically raising their analyst price target from $7 all the way up to $56, a 666% analyst upgrade. It just goes to show, that even these big time investors are always raising their analyst price targets. You had JP Morgan, who raised their price target from 14 to 40. Deutsche Bank and Bank of America also raised their analyst price targets. So NIO's actually been getting a lot of heat. And to actually be able to combat Tesla expanding in China, NIO is actually going to drop 2 new sedans, right, to be able to compete with Tesla's Model 3. But in other news as well, guys, we also did get news that NIO is also dropping another SUV and an electric minivan. That's just absolutely insane, guys. It goes to show, that NIO is trying its best to expand as fast as possible to make sure that it can stiffen up to the competition in Tesla. I know that NIO is probably a little bit worried there because Tesla is a more established brand than NIO. But guys, the fact that NIO is producing more cars and is trying to ramp up production as fast as possible, it goes to show that NIO is trying to expand as quickly as possible, and it goes to show that it's trying to be a top EV company. On top of all that, guys, we did get their earnings in the beginning of the month, or towards the middle of the month, I'm sorry, basically saying that, yes, the company wasn't profitable, and that's probably the biggest thing for a lot of investors right now that are actually looking to buy NIO stock, that the company in itself isn't profitable. But NIO, guys, is very, very close to profitability. I do see profit for NIO in the next couple of years. You guys have to understand that NIO as a company, their losses are starting to shrink as their revenue is starting to grow. By next quarter, guys, they're already expecting $960 million in revenue, which is just absolutely insane, guys. You guys have to take in consideration when Tesla was first founded, that company didn't see an ounce of profit for 15 years. So the fact that it's been able to grow to become such an empire, guys, I can be patient when it comes to NIO stock. I can be patient with NIO and its growth. Yes, it may not be profitable now, but guys, I already know that NIO stock is going to be profitable in the future. Even studies are saying that, 20% of all vehicle sales in China are going to be electric vehicles. This is where NIO comes in, guys, because NIO's vehicles are absolutely awesome. They offer very good features and they're very high tech. That's what I actually like about NIO. They use technology to their advantage to make their cars very, very innovative. On top of that, guys, we do have NIO Day coming up at the beginning of the year. A lot of people are waiting for NIO Day. This is going to be a very big event, basically where NIO is going to be unveiling all sorts of cool products and what's to come for the company. Not just that, guys. In other good news, NIO's also working on a bigger and better battery, or they have a bigger, better battery. It's a 100 kilowatt battery. And basically, that's probably been the biggest complaint of the overall EV industry in itself. Basically saying, that a lot of these cars that are electric do not have enough charge, or they consistently have to charge them, or they can't go on road trips and stuff like that. So the fact that NIO's actually listening to the people on this and trying its hard to work on a bigger and better battery that can produce, more mileage range and a faster charge, it goes to show the merit of the company in itself. NIO's also working on a self-driving chip, and this is also another kind of big thing for the EV industry in itself. A lot of companies are working towards that EV chip, but basically with this EV chip, it's a self-driving chip, which basically means that these cars can drive themselves. So, this also does roll into NIO's other idea of, its robo-taxi service that it wants to start. Basically, it's going to have taxis roaming around China, picking people up, dropping them off, but there's going to be no drivers in it. It's just absolutely insane that NIO's using the technology to its advantage. And the fact that it's trying to grow in so many different avenues. I love the business model of NIO. I do love the analytic behind the company in itself. I think it's a very smart idea that they're not just stopping at luxury EV cars, but they're trying to be innovative and expand their business lines as well. But guys, this does lead me to the NIO stock price prediction. Where do I think NIO is going to be headed in the next couple of years, or even in the next couple of months? By the end of the year, guys, I did expect a $60 price target, but to be honest, I don't think it's going to hit it. I could probably see $50, but NIO has just been surrounded by so much bad news lately, guys, causing it to basically crash a little bit. And I do expect NIO to be a $100 stock by 2021 or in 2021, because guys, you have to understand that NIO is in the pinnacle of its growth right now, and it's starting to expand. The fact that it's been able to expand this much in a pandemic alone goes to show that NIO has a lot of merit as a company. Looking at the 1 year chart, this thing is from $4 all the way up to bigger than General Motors in the midst of a pandemic where a lot of companies are struggling, a lot of companies are not doing well, and a lot of companies had to file for bankruptcy. While NIO was been able to grow this actual empire in itself, just goes to show that, NIO is going to be growing for a very long time. But surrounded by all the evidence, guys, the rise in the EV market in itself, and there's just generally more demand with NIO Day coming up at the beginning of the year, NIO dropping more cars, dropping a bigger and better battery, working on a self-driving chip in itself. All these big kind of pieces of news lead me to think that NIO is going to hit $100 by 2021. And if it continues this trajectory of growth, guys, I could see NIO stock hitting $300 by 2022. I don't think it's actually unlikely at all. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff backing up NIO, but not just the good news that NIO is bringing itself as a company, but it's just, like I said, it's just the more rampant demand for the EV market in itself, because a lot of people are looking towards the EV market to carry us into the next decade. You guys have seen how many EV companies have IPO'd out there. You guys have seen the recent IPO of a lot of new EV companies. Although they don't all do cars, guys, some of them do like electric SUVs or electric trucks, or they're trying to do like commercial vehicles and stuff like that. But a lot of these big time companies are starting to IPO. Why? It's because a lot of people see that there's a lot of money to be made in this industry. With NIO, I do think NIO is my top pick as an EV company, aside from Tesla in itself, but I think NIO should be a good buy right now at $41.52. I think people should invest in this company, and I do think that this stock is currently undervalued. Like I said, guys, when you're buying a stock, you guys have to look at the longer term perspective, not the short term. Yes, NIO has been surrounded by a little bit of bad news lately, but to me, guys, I'm just looking at the longer term perspective of where could NIO actually be in the next 2 to 3 years. A lot of analysts are speculating that NIO is not going to be able to keep up this trajectory of growth, but guys, you also have to understand that a lot of analysts out there also said that Tesla was going to $8, and look at where Tesla is today, guys. It's over a $600 billion market cap. It's been able to grow into an empire, and their cars are absolutely everywhere. So you always have to take what the analysts say with a grain of salt, and I can understand their perspective, but for me, it should always just be a perspective, guys. If you guys are truly bullish on the stock, you guys are truly bullish on the outlook of the stock in itself, then it should be worth the investment in your eyes. Yes, you may lose on an investment, you may win on an investment. That's just part of the game, guys. But with NIO stock, I do see the long-term growth. I do see NIO stock being worth a $300 stock. And the fact that this company's only been around for 4 years, IPO'd for only 2 years now, guys. And the fact that it's been able to grow bigger than General Motors, their deliveries are consistently going up, and there's just generally more demand for cars, EV cars, especially in China, guys. So, there's a lot of good stuff that's going to be happening for NIO, guys, in the next couple of months, whether it be their earnings or whether it be NIO Day or them making new cars or selling more cars. I mean, you guys have seen their consistent deliveries. You guys have seen their consistent results, guys. NIO is growing, and no one really can take that away from NIO. I think NIO should be a good buy for people. With that being said, guys, that's all I really have to say about the video. Let me know down in the comment section below, guys, what you think of NIO stock. Do you think NIO stock will one day hit $300? If you guys own NIO stock, how many shares do you guys own and what's your average? I'm always very curious to know. With that being said, guys, thank you. Have a great day.